Hello learners, today we shall be focusing on Chief Seattle's speech. The speech that was delivered in 1854 by the public leader and orator Chief Seattle, who belonged to the Suquamish tribe of the Native American. Seattle was the leader and orator of the Suquamish and Duwamish tribe, who were also called the Red Indians. They were actually the Native Americans and they were also called the Red Indians, right? You must note that Seattle was so popular that a city named Seattle in America was named after him. The particular speech we are going to go through today is a response of Chief Seattle to the land treaty of the Washington government. Here, the Washington government wants to purchase the land of the Native Americans. The governor, named Isaac Stevens, comes to purchase the land of the Red Indians. Here, Seattle's speech focuses on the rights of the Native Americans and also the imperialistic attitude of the white Americans. You will find that Seattle's speech is so full of emotion and concern for the nature, and he, through his speech, makes a plea to the white Americans to think about the nature, to get aware of the degradation of the nature. Seattle seems very much concerned about nature, his tribe, his people, and for the mankind also. The speech that Seattle delivers is in the native language, that is Lushootseed Sid. Let's read what Seattle has to say in his speech. Yonder sky that has wept tears of compassion upon my people for centuries untold, and which to us appears changeless and eternal, may change. Seattle says that the sky has been a witness of their prosperity, of their pleasure, of their emotion. Seattle says that the sky over there has blessed them with whatever they needed, and what seems eternal today may get untimely change. Today is fair, tomorrow it may be overcast with clouds. He was worried about the environmental degradation and its impact on mankind if not checked. Nature has provided them with all the essentials, but the lack of proper measures will put the future in great trouble. Then Seattle says, my words are like the stars that never change. Whatever Seattle says, the great chief at Washington can rely upon with as much certainty as he can upon the return of the sun of the seasons. Seattle ascertains his reliability by correlating himself with the stars that never change their position. He says that whatever he says can be trusted. He won't change his words ever in response to the land treaty. The great chief of Washington refers to George Washington, the president. Just as the sun returns and the seasons also, he may also be trusted. The white chief says that the big chief at Washington sends us greetings of friendship and goodwill. This is kind of him, for we know he has little need of our friendship in return. His people are many, they are like the grass that covers vast prairies. My people are few, they resemble the scattering trees of a storm-swept plain. Seattle calls the president kind enough, for he has offered friendship to them. Seattle knows by heart that the president does not need any friendship from them, and because they don't have power, they are powerless, they are few, how would they help them? So the president kindly stretches the hand of friendship to them. He thinks so. Furthermore, he talks about the terrible condition of his tribe because their population has declined over time and they have remained few. How they would help the white Americans? On the other hand, the white Americans are many. They have power. So, they don't need any friendship from this little tribe. He compares the condition of the two races, the white Americans and the red Indians. He says that the white Americans are like the grass of the prairies. You must have read in geography the prairie lands which are covered with green grasses. So the white Americans are like this, but the red Indians are like the few trees that stand on their feet after a storm has struck to a land. Just after the storm, there remains a few trees on the land. Likewise, the red Americans have remained a few. The great and I presume good white chief sends us word that he wishes to buy our land but is willing to allow us enough to live comfortably. This indeed appears just, even generous, for the red man no longer has rights that he need respect, and the offer may be wise also, as we are no longer in need of an extensive country. Seattle addresses the white chief as good and kind because he offers a friendship to them. See, the white chief means the president offers a friendship and also assures them that they will be given a land to live comfortably if they agree to the land treaty. And this agreement appears to be good enough for Chief Seattle because he thinks that they do not need a vast land to live because they are not large in numbers. A little land would be enough for their living. There was a time when our people covered the land as the waves of a wind-ruffled sea covered its sail-paved floor. Just as the wind-ruffled sea covers its sail-paved floor, likewise, his people also were large in number. Now he remembers the past days. There were a lot of tribal people residing in the land, but now they are gradually decreasing in number. But that time long since passed away with the greatness of tribes that are now but a mournful memory. So it remains nothing but a mournful memory for them. I will not dwell on nor mourn over our untimely decay, nor reproach my pale-faced brothers with hastening it, as we too may have been somewhat to blame. Seattle says that he will not dwell on, means talk over, about the decay that they had suffered from. He says that he is not also going to blame the people of his tribe because he knows that in some way or another they are also responsible for the decay of their tribe. He explains in the next lines, youth is impulsive. When our young men grow angry at some real or imaginary wrong and disfigure their faces with black paint, it denotes that their hearts are black and that they are often cruel and relentless, and our old men and old women are unable to restrain them. He says that youth is rash, they are repulsive, they can do whatever they want. When they are angry, they do some meaningless things. Youth take over things which may be wrong. In the urge of taking revenge, youth get into impulsive acts, and when they paint their faces black, it seems that some negative thoughts also reside in their heart. But the young don't think what their near and dears, their parents would go through when they are killed in the war or in some revengeful act, but the youth don't feel the sufferings of their parents. Thus it has ever been. Thus it was when the white man began to push our forefathers over westward. See, the forefathers of the West men also are responsible for the destruction of the tribal people, because they were forcing their ways into the native lands just regarding themselves as superior to them. Moreover, Seattle criticizes the white people for not regarding the nature and cultural values of the tribal people. But let us hope that the hostilities between us may never return. Seattle urges that the hostility, the revengeful mind, does not return again in their heart. We would have everything to lose and nothing to gain, because they have nothing to gain now. Whatever they have are going to be lost. Revenge by young men is considered gain, even at the cost of their own lives. But old men who stay at home in times of war and mothers who have sons to lose know better. He says that young generation is revengeful. They do not retreat to take revenge. So what if they lose their life? They do not consider their lives to be valuable. But the mothers who stay at home during wars, bearing the hope that their sons will return, suffers more. They know better the sufferings of losing a child. Our good father in Washington, for I presume he is now our father as well as yours, since King George has moved his boundaries further north, our great and good father, I say, sends us word that if we do as he desires, he will protect us. Seattle considers George Washington as good father and says that he believes that the president will protect the tribal people from any kind of danger. His brave warriors will be to us a bristling wall of strength, and his wonderful ships of war will fill our harbor, so that our ancient enemies far to the north toward the Haidas and Simpsons will cease to frighten our women, children and old men. Then in reality he will be our father and we his children. The president sends an assurance that his strength of the soldiers, his strength of army will protect them from the enemy tribes, that is the Haidas and the Simpsons, and their women, their children, all will be protected from any kind of danger, so they can live a peaceful life hereafter if they agree to the land treaty. See, our parents, our fathers protect us from dangers. Likewise, if George Washington, the president, keeps them secured from any kind of danger, he is proven as a good father. But now Seattle wonders, but can that ever be? Your God is not our God. Your God loves your people and hates mine. Now Seattle wonders if it is ever possible, because the white Americans and the red Indians, they are completely different two races. They have different gods, different cultures, different beliefs. So Seattle has a kind of disbelief if this good thing will happen ever. He says, your God is not our God. The white Americans believe in Christianity and the tribal people have another God. He also says that your God loves your people and hates mine. Why does he say so? Because the white Americans are flourishing, they are contented in their life, they are large in number. On the other hand, the native red Indians are decreasing in number. They are suffering from poverty and many more problems. If the God is the same, how would he be partial to his two sons? He says, he folds his strong protecting arms lovingly about the pale face and leads him by the hand as a father leads an infant son. The Christian God protects the white Americans like a father who protects his son. But he has forsaken his red children, if they really are his. But if the red children means the red Indians are also his children, then he should have been protecting them also with his blissful hand. But no, here the God seems partializing. Our God, the Great Spirit, seems also to have forsaken us. Here also their own God seems to have forsaken them. Your God makes your people walk stronger every day. Soon they will fill all the land. Your God has such a bliss over you that you are flourishing day by day, and it seems that you will fill the whole land someday. Our people are ebbing away like a rapidly receding tide that will never return. And see at us, we have come to the point of extinction now. The white man's God cannot love our people, or he would protect them. They seem to be orphans who can look nowhere for help. Seattle believes that the white man's God, means the Christian God, will never protect the red Indians. So we are like orphans now who find no help anywhere. How then can we be brothers? So with so many differences, how these two races can live peacefully, can live together? This seems quite impossible, to live a life of togetherness. Seattle wonders that having so many differences, these two races, the white Americans and the red Indians, cannot live peacefully together. Brotherhood cannot grow among themselves. How can your God become our God and renew our prosperity and awaken in us dreams of returning greatness? If we have a common heavenly Father, he must be partial, for he came to his pale-faced children. We never saw him. He gave you laws but had no word for his red children, whose teeming multitudes once filled this vast continent as stars fill the firmament. He says, your God is never going to be able to return our prosperity that we nurtured in the past times. How your God will make our dream come true? Seattle says that even it is true that there is a one common figure, that is the heavenly figure who watches the red Americans. I must say that I have not seen him. He is a fictionary figure. He gave you laws but had no word for his red children, whose teeming multitudes once filled this vast continent as stars fill the firmament. Just as the stars fill the firmament, the God of the red Americans blessed them with flourishment, but he seems to have bypassed the red Indians and gave them nothing at all. But these red Indians were countless in number in past times, just like the stars in heaven that fill the firmament. No, we are two distinct races with separate origins and separate destinies. Seattle firmly believes that no, we are two different races. There can be no compatibility between us. There is little in common between us. To us, the ashes of our ancestors are sacred and their resting place is hallowed ground. He says that for us, our ancestral places, means where the ancestors were buried, are sacred places, and the ashes are also sacred. But when your ancestors die, you totally forget them. You kind of delete them from your mind. But we keep our ancestors' memories in our heart. You wander far from the graves of your ancestors and seemingly without regret, you do not regret to live far away from the ancestral graves of your forefathers. Your religion was written upon tablets of stones by the iron finger of your God, so that you could not forget. The red man could never comprehend or remember it. Our religion is the traditions of our ancestors, the dreams of our old men, given them in solemn hours of the night by the Great Spirit, and the visions of our schemes, and is written in the hearts of our people. Seattle even says that the white people's religion, means the Christianity, is written on stones so that they never forget it. But the tribal people bear their religion in their heart. They have emotion for their religion. The religion is a dream of their forefathers to them. He believes that the spirits of their ancestors even dwell on the land after their death, because they cannot part themselves with the land they loved once. They dwell once in it. They dwell to bless the tribal people with their love. And the visions of our sachems, as is written in the hearts of our people. Seattle says that their religion always prevails in the heart of the tribal people. Their religion are the dreams of their ancestors. Your dead cease to love you, and the land of their nativity as soon as they pass the portals of the tomb and wander away beyond the stars. The moment the white Americans die, they forget their people and they never return. But our dead never forget this beautiful world that gave them being. They still love its verdant valleys, its murmuring rivers, its magnificent mountains, sequestered vales and verdant-lined lakes and bays, and ever yearn to intender fond affection over the lonely hearted living, and often return from the happy hunting ground to visit, guide, console and comfort them. He said that their forefathers never forget them. They always dwell, their spirit always dwell on the earth, not to haunt the people, but to bless them, to console them, to guide them. Day and night cannot dwell together. Just as day and night cannot dwell together, cannot stay together, likewise the white people and the red Americans cannot live together. Seattle finds it quite impossible to live together with the white people. The red man has ever fled the approach of the white man, as the morning mist flees before the morning sun. He says, just as the morning mist flees before the coming of the sun, likewise the red man never hears of the white man. However, your proposition seems fair, and I think that my people will accept it and will return to the reservation you offered them. But even after that, Seattle has a belief that his people will agree with the treaty and accept the proposal. Then we will dwell apart in peace, for the words of the great white chief seem to be the words of nature speaking to my people out of dense darkness. To him, the white chief's words seem like the words of the nature that seems to collaborate with the tribal people even in dense darkness. It matters little where we pass the remnant of our days. They will not be many. The India's night promises to be dark. Not a single star of hope hovers above his horizon. Seattle feels that their doom is near. They cannot skip it, so he thinks it will be good enough if they agree with the proposal. Seattle finds no hope hovering in the sky over their head. Sad-voiced winds moan in the distance. Grim fate seems to be on the red man's trail, and wherever he will hear the approaching footsteps of his fell destroyer and prepare solidly to meet his doom, and he does, as does the wounded doe that hears the approaching footsteps of the hunter. Just as a dove that gets hit by a hunter and finds the hunter approaching it, likewise Seattle also foresees the coming danger of his people. A few more moons, a few more winters, and not one of the descendants of the mighty host that once moved over this broad land or lived in happy homes protected by the Great Spirit will remain to mourn over the graves of a people once more powerful and hopeful than yours. He says that I see few more days or months and few more winters refers to few more years. Then will all cease to exist. But why should I mourn at the untimely fate of my people? Tribe follows tribe and nation follows nation, like the waves of the sea. It is the order of nature and regret is useless. Then Seattle says that why would he be concerned only for the tribal people that they would be destroyed, but the whole nation would be destroyed, because death is inevitable. Death comes for all who live in the earth. Just like the waves of the sea that are inevitable to come, likewise death is also unescapable. Your time of decay may be distant, but it will surely come. He says that the white Americans are flourishing today, are powerful today, but they will also meet their doom one day. Maybe in distant future, but they will definitely find their decay. For even the white man whose God walked and talked with him as friend to friend cannot be exempt from the common destiny. The God who has been blessing the white Americans will also take out his bliss one day. They will also die one day, because death is a common destiny for all. We may be brothers after all, we will see. Therefore, in this particular status, we are the same. So, there is a possibility that we can be brothers, we can live together. We will see. He thinks that we will decide. We will ponder your proposition, and when we decide, we will let you know. He says when they will decide themselves that they must agree to the proposition, they will inform them. Again, he wonders whether he is to agree with the land treaty. I hear and now make this condition that we will not be denied the privilege without molestation of visiting at any time the tombs of our ancestors, friends and children. Then he puts a condition to the white people that whenever they need to visit their ancestral burials or the burial places of their children or dear and nears, they should be allowed. They should not be given any restriction to pay visit to their ancestral burials. Every part of this soil is sacred in the estimation of my people. He wants that every place of the land is sacred for them, for the tribal people. They love it so much. Every hillside, every valley, every plain and grove has been hallowed by some sad or happy event in days long vanished. In past times, they lived here, they lived in the land, they had some sad or happy moments there. So, the land is very much important to them. Even the rocks which seem to be dumb and dead as the swelter in the sun along the silent shore, thrill with memories of stirring events connected with the lives of my people, and the very dust upon which you now stand responds more lovingly to their footsteps than yours, because it is rich with the blood of our ancestors, and our bare feet are conscious of the sympathetic touch. The native people loved the nature, loved the land so much that even after their death, their spirit dwell the place. The soil responds more to their footsteps than to the footsteps of the white Americans. Our departed braves, fond mothers, glad, happy-hearted maidens, and even the little children who lived here and rejoiced here for a brief season will love these somber solitudes, and at eventide they greet shadowy returning spirits. The tribal people will always love their land even after they are departed from here. The tribal people lived in this place maybe for a short period of time, but they will love it forever. When the last red man shall have perished, and the memory of my tribe shall have become a myth among the white men, this source will swarm with the invisible dead of my tribe. And when your children's children think themselves alone in the field, the store, the shop, up on the highway, or in the silence of the pathless woods, they will not be alone. Seattle has a belief that even if the last red man gets died on this land, long after this, when the white Americans will be dwelling in this place, in that time also the white Americans will not be alone, will not be dwelling alone in this place. Who will dwell with them? No, the spirits of the red Americans will be with them. The spirits of the red Americans will coexist with them. In all the earth there is no place dedicated to solitude. At night, when the streets of your cities and villages are silent and you think them deserted, they will throng with the returning host that once filled them and still love this beautiful land. In future, when the white Americans will prevail here, will live here, and they will build cities and dwell here peacefully in the silent night also, then the spirit of the red Indians, when in future the white Americans would find the night silent, then also the bare feet of the red Indians will dwell in the nature. Seattle assures that the white man will never be alone. They will have to coexist with the spirit of the red men. Let him be just and deal kindly with my people, for the dead are not powerless. Dead, did I say? There is no death, only a change of words. So Seattle hopes that the Washington chief will pay due respect to the red people, otherwise revenge will be taken upon them by the spirits of the tribal people. Then he says, dead. Did I say so? Nothing called death. All is that a change of the world. Only a change of worlds. Seattle believes that there is nothing called death. People who die only go to another world to live. So there is nothing called death. Learners, you can see how emotional Seattle was with his nature, with his people, and with the mankind also. He keeps a firm belief that his ancestors will definitely keep their love and their bliss over the tribal people. Seattle is fond of nature. He has a deep love and respect for his tribal people. So learners, this was the speech of Seattle all about. If you wish any questions to be discussed from this text, you can write me in the comment section. I will be there within another video. Till then, stay happy and keep studying.